the source of best practice. One of the things I see time and time again in the ecological, the environmental, the development literature is best practice. For most of the systems that we're dealing with, people who say best practice, they are thinking in terms of engineering disorders. They're not thinking in terms of complex systems. Complex systems are the domain of wicked problems. There is no objectively verifiable solution, which is one of the reasons why local knowledge is so important in the things that you might be doing out in the field. Because nobody knows everything about these complex systems. They're essentially unknowable. People who live in rural areas are expert at managing them, but they manage them intuitively and on the basis of long periods of life in those areas. Some peoples in this world will practice certain lifestyles and ways of using resources for thousands of years and have done it very successfully, and it's all based on intuition and knowledge that's passed on from one generation to the next in terms of folklore and tradition. Resilience assessment, indicated by this little graphic here, sits between these complex, these complex unknowable systems and complicated but potentially knowable. So resilience assessment is all about taking this complexity and rendering it down to something which is potentially knowable. And that is the sphere of adaptive management. That's where scientific managers operate. How many of you have heard of adaptive management? Okay, how many of you have seen adaptive management applied? How many of you have seen adaptive management applied to a specific model of change? Right. And that's one of the problems. A lot of people talk about adaptive management. They say they're doing it, but in fact they're not. So this is where ecological resilience belongs. And then down here in the chaos corner, it's what happens when things fall apart, when the knowledge that we have and the systems that we built fail because we don't know enough about the system, the larger system within which our systems operate. And it's not a very nice to play in, but it's a place that human populations have been in throughout their history. We do know what they're like. We've survived them before, and we'll survive them again. It takes strong leadership and a lot of innovation to come out of those systems. So these two things belong together. These two different kinds of resilience. So you get the ecological, which is about understanding the system, and then the engineering, which is about very systematic study of specific parts of the system. And that very systematic study yields an awful lot of knowledge about physical components of the system, but it doesn't tell you that much about living components, because living components are constantly evolving and changing. Okay, where's Hugh? That's what did we have to do for the next bit? Okay, so, right, having told you the difference between these two kinds of systems, what I'd like you to think about is examples of those. I showed you a burning forest and a train wreck as two examples, but I'm sure if you think about it, you'll know many other examples in your life. So, Hugh, give them the facilitator's instruction about how they might...
This time we'll just do my tables. Do you want a few more there? Or you will do this in 3? So give us, on each table, 3 or 4 examples that you can relate to from the picture. Train them through. And again, please put that on the web.
Alright, it's this if they can give us an example of engineering system and engineering resilience and ecological system, ecological resilience, based on their knowledge. I gave an example of a train wreck and a burning forest. Collapsing in the middle of the forest and a wrecked train wreck.
So I should take this example. There were several examples.
It's sorry, it's an example of a simple system and a complex system.
Thank you.
Sorry, yeah.
You just go ahead and
Yeah.
So a simple and a complex. Yes, please.
Because I think that was going to happen.
So finish this.
If it's time. This
How